some open spaces, but these are, I can put 3 of my 3 YouTube thumbnail images there, and I can put 3 of my logos over here. I know you did 5 logos. You don't have to put them all on here. Just put just one. You can switch these out. I know we only did 1 of these. If you want to put another logo here, that's fine. If you've got other audios that you made, you can put them in here. You can put 3 audios and just 2 still YouTube pictures. However you want to do it. It's fine. It's all stuff you did in here. Okay? Is that fair? I made the video front and center, top and center, but it doesn't have to be. You can move it around. Now the table itself is, you know, you probably can figure that out, but it's a little bit complicated. So I'm going to show you the code for it, how to do it. Okay, but that's what I want you to do is, of course, put your name at the top, change the background color. I'll show you how to do it, and then fill it up with your. Okay. On the images, you won't be. I know that you gave me your. You're supposed to have your PSD, your Photoshop files, so I can see all the layers and everything. But to put them into here, you're going to have to export them. You know, do file. I think it's export. I had Photoshop open earlier. I really want to have to open it again, but I still will. File, export, and it's. I think you can just do quick export as a PNG. And that'll work fine. Yeah. Okay. I'll show you how to do that. When you do your video needs to be an MP4, probably. You could probably do some other things, maybe a WAV or a MOV file. But an MP4 will work well. And that's going to be an export. Export, I believe it's session and a media. I think we've walked through that before, how to export. I think we did it last week, okay, when we went through the whole project. It'll be, you can export it. It's a big box that opens up to do that, pretty good size box. At the top, it's got what kind of format you want to put it in. And H.264 is the MP4 format. That'll be fine. Okay. Just go ahead and let it, I think is it by default? I'm not sure about that, but I think it is on mine. I might have fixed it, but I think it's by default. So the H.264 format is the MP4 format. Just use that, and that'll give you something that'll go into a web page. The browser, like Chrome or Edge or Firefox or whatever you're using, Safari, it won't show a PSD file, and it won't show a Premiere file, Premiere project file. It won't show. So you have to export these things, or really export is just another word for save them into a different format. Okay, you have to save them into a format that the browser can see. So MP4 is a video format you can see. MP3 is an audio format. These are JPEGs or PNGs. Okay, these are probably just PNGs or maybe GIFs, GIFs. But anything that you can, JPEG, GIF. Okay, look, I'm gonna put these on the board. Maybe that'll help you remember if you have. I don't want you to be at home and have trouble with trying to remember what formats will work. Okay.
So what software are we doing?
What's that?
What software are we doing?
I'm going to show you. It's going to be. I'm doing it in Dreamweaver, but there's a few different ways to do it. So the formats, okay, are like this. For images, that's going to be JPEG, PNG, or GIF. Any of those will be fine. Okay. For audio, MP3, and for video, just do MP4. Okay. Those will all be compatible. Now, let's look at how to get this done. I've got this file. You can use this file. I'm not asking you to create your own file from scratch. That might be a little bit hard for the amount of time that we have to do this in. So I'm going to, hey, that looks interesting. Okay, so what I'm looking at is, okay, so here's the thing. Anytime you open anytime you have a web page file, it's the extension for it is .html. Okay, so a web page is a hypertext markup language. Okay, and all these will show up in there. Okay, all of these will show up in there. Now, but the .html itself, you can look at this in different ways. It has two different ways to be looked at. One is visual or design view. One is a code view. If you look at it with a visual or design view, this is pretty much in the browser. Okay, if you look at it in a code view, you can use different programs. Notepad is one. Is anybody on a Mac at home? iPad might have text edit. Macs have a program called text edit. It's just like Notepad. It's a very simple program. Notepad looks like this. Gosh, this is so bad that they don't allow that. Okay, that's Notepad. It's just plain text. There is no formatting. You can't make the font larger. You can't change the font. You can't color the font. Nothing. It's just plain text. Well, that's what .html is. It's just plain text. Okay. So that works. TextEdit works. TextEdit is the same kind of program, but for Mac. And then Dreamweaver works. Dreamweaver is an Adobe souped up web page editor. Okay, there are others. There are tons of others. There are ones that are really popular. There's ones that are free. There's ones that you can pay money for. There's ones that do all kinds of languages. There's ones that just do basic web page stuff. You can get them for your phone. I've got a few on my phone. Okay, so the web page editors, there's a dime a dozen, but not really. There's a lot of them. Okay? So you can look at a browser. You can look at a web page like this, and I'm gonna open it. Well, it is open in Dreamweaver. So here it is in Dreamweaver. This is Dreamweaver, which is another Adobe program. Okay? It's got a menu across the top, at the very top up there, that's similar to like Photoshop menu or something. Okay, it's not the same kind of program. It's not working with the same kind of stuff, but they've made it as compatible with the other Adobe programs as they can. Okay, and the interesting thing about this is Dreamweaver actually gives you a visual view as well. So when you look at a web page, you can look at it one of two ways: the design view or the code view. Okay, so that's a pretty important thing, actually. Design view or code view. Now, I've got this set up in here with some comments. Now, comments are pieces of code that do not get processed by the browser. Okay, so I've got a little piece of code right here with that slash and that star and that star and that slash. It's all okay. Okay. This is where you change the background color of the table. That's it right there. That hash mark and those 6 hexadecimal numbers. Okay. So right now my background is blue, but if I want it to be green, I can select it in Dreamweaver, choose Quick Edit, and I can go find me a green. Okay. And it changes. So that, I want you to change the background color. Okay, but I've got a comment in that file showing you where to go to find it. If you don't have Dreamweaver, that's not, I think it would be good to download it, use it. But you can use one of these other programs to edit your code. Okay? And if you're looking for RGB numbers, for hexadecimal numbers, then go ahead and get on here and do a bunch of names like RGB hex web color numbers, and you can probably get a big chart. This is a big color picker online. Okay, choose a color. That's the number right there. If I choose a purple, light purple, that's the number right there. I can select it. I click on it, copy it, go back to my code, paste it right there. I got purple. Okay, that's not too bad. So I need the background color change. Okay, and then I need the content change. Of course, I need your name right there. You can just now in Dreamweaver you can select this in the live view. I don't know if this is going to work real well in the design view because I've got it laid out with percentages. And it just does something funny to it. Okay, so look at it in the live view, which is another version of the visual view, okay, instead of the code view. But you'll be able to change these things. Now, in Dreamweaver, if you don't even want to look at the code, okay, go to Window, Properties, and this box pops open. And whatever you click on, you can then change. Let me see if I can get a hold of this. How do I get that? There we go. And it's right there under the SRC source. You can, if I have this selected, that's my source for it, my source file for it. You can then click on that little folder icon and go find where the file you want to link. Now I would caution you on this. Okay, this is a really good piece of advice. This little properties box makes it really easy to click on that little folder icon and then go find a folder somewhere, anywhere on your system. And then click OK, and then the next thing you know, you just pulled in a file in your web page, let's say on your desktop, you just pulled in a file from somewhere on your C drive, about 6 folders down in somewhere. Okay? You probably don't want to do that. I would, before you start to really change the content on your web page, I would save the web page into a project folder, and then also save all your files that you're going to use in that project folder. Okay, your picture files, your video files, your audio files. I save them all into that project folder so that you don't have to go very far to find them in the using this properties box. If you don't use the properties box, you can use the code, and you really just have to find the little spot. Okay, if you click on it, like the video here, go into the code, it's probably already selected for you. Okay. And then you can find the source. The source is really just all you want. Click that, and that's what you're going to change right there. Your video. Okay? Or MP4 video or whatever you say. So this is the last project. Okay? It's a web page portfolio. I think it's a good thing for you to do. I think all these things are probably things that in a lot of jobs that you would have, you might be called on to do as sort of a supplemental part of your job. I know it's probably not going to be core that you do, but it is pretty handy as a supplemental thing. Okay. I will say that. Okay, does that make sense? Same thing with the audio. You scroll it. I've got all these. There's different types of comments. There's different. This page, this web page, has two languages embedded in it, HTML and one called CSS. So they take different type. They each take different types of comments, but whatever is all capital, that's my comments. Okay, so I've got this set up so that the sections in the table, the different rows, the different cells in the table. This is my headline right here in this code, right beneath here. Your name. I can put Mr. James here, and then I get it over here. Okay. Go back to my code, go down. This is one of my still images. I can change that. This next one is my video. It says it right there. This next one is a logo. You can leave it the same, and that's fine. Or you can mix it up if you want to. You know, if you say, oh, I don't really have 3 logos I want to use. I just put, or maybe you don't have 3 YouTube channel thumbnails you want to use. You only have 1 or 2. And I want to use my other logos. That's not really good. Whatever you think is your best. I'd rather see your best stuff than to, or vice versa with your logos and your pictures for your YouTube channel. Okay, you can swap them out. I'd rather see your best stuff than, you know, have you do it just like mine and it's not your best stuff. I get tired enough of looking at average stuff that I'd way rather see your best stuff. Other things are really pretty good. I like your deer. That was kind of okay. And I like the cupcake thing. You know, there's some pretty cool things that I've seen. Okay. So, but everybody's had a few good things. But you know, I think this is a good culminating kind of project. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's pretty much where I'm at with this. We could go into more of dealing with the table. In fact, I will say this. Okay, if you want to change the background colors of a cell, okay, and I choose something. Okay, I'm in this cell right here. Find the cell the item is embedded in. Okay, cells are created like this. As always, I'll show this to you and then let you see how this is working. Okay, it's real structure. Cells are always created like TV, and there might be some stuff in here. Okay. And then you'll have another tag, like an image tag, source, pic, not JPEG, maybe. Okay. It might have. If you're, oh, I've got to tell you this. I've got to tell you this. You know, you might have to put the width in there. If your pictures, and then you close the TV. Okay, this is a really important tag. A couple of tags right here. Okay. There's your TV. Okay, let's get just a still image. This is one right here. Okay. All right. So this right here is a full cell. You see how you have what's called an opening TV tag and closing TV tag, and then you've got something in the middle of it. In this case, it's a picture. This is in the middle. This whole tag is considered an image tag. Okay? Tags are delineated with these greater than or less than symbols. Okay, that's all a tag is. That's how it's written. They're always written that way. HTML. Okay. There are other languages that use tags. There's XML. There's voice markup language, VML. There's multiple other markup languages. Okay, so but you can change your background color here if you want to. If you just do BG color equals, and then you got to put these things in quotes. When you have an equal sign, then you got to have quotes after it usually, just like these. Okay. Now I'm going to put a number, a hexadecimal number. 0, 5. That's pretty dark color right there. Okay, so maybe C, B, A, 4, 9, 7. That's going to be kind of a reddish, red and green, maybe yellow. It's going to be a red and orange color. Probably a little bit more red. Okay. Okay, but if you put that right into here, it'll change the background color of the cell, so that you can do that if you want to. Do it right here. BG color. Let's put that one in there. TBA497. Okay, so there I go. And that's it. Yeah, it's kind of a well, it is a little bit orangish. Okay, kind of brown actually. So you can change those colors if you want to. In fact, that would be kind of nice. Right.
So, like, if we wanted to get your specific,
It's already on there. It's already on D2L. It's in the Digital Media Web Portfolio.
now when we download it, it just takes it to like its own website type deal.
Well, once you download it, you have actually got you've actually got the HTML file, which is that. You have access to that, and of course this. You have it all. Now, if you go ahead and download all those files, put them in a folder somewhere, a portfolio folder, then you'll actually be able to see all my media in that web and see how it works.
Gotcha.
If you then swap out, the files that you put in that folder, then you'll see your media in that web page. Okay, that's pretty important right here. This width thing is pretty important. Let's find an example of this. There it is right there. I've got my image set for 80%. Well, actually, I think I set them so you don't have to worry about it. I made it easier. Sheesh. Next semester I'll make the bottom. I always say that. Never do. Okay. So, but if you want to change it, you can. Okay. So where I have to be careful. Be careful. I'll probably, unless you really want to experiment, okay. And what I would do, and I told this to the Tuesday class, what I would do if you get a couple files of yours plugged into your web page, that's pretty good. I would save that and then make a copy of that and continue to work with that copy, with that new copy. And I would keep saving versions, okay? Because what you don't want to do is get 3 or 4 files in there and it's working pretty good, and then you feel good about it, and then you start doing something unusual and trying different things, and then it completely fouls up, because it can. Okay, it really fouls up. You won't mess it up too bad, but it might be more than you feel like you know how to handle. And then, so I would always want you to have, and this is a good working practice, I would want you to have a good copy of one that worked that you can go back to. Okay, now I'm just telling you. Now, if you save it, and look, now this is my folder, okay, right here. Digital Media Portfolio, that's my HTML file. It says it right there, HTML document. Okay? Once I got one working, I might right click on that and say copy, wherever copy is right there. Paste another one in here, and I might would rename it. I usually just put it on the end of it, underscore V2 or underscore V3 for version 2, version 3. I keep going like that. So that when I have one that works with 2 pictures switched out, and then I go to do the third one and I totally screw it up somehow, I can always go back to the other one. Okay, I'm just telling you, be careful about that. That'll frustrate that'll frustrate you, okay, if you get in there and it fouls up. And you always got mine online. Okay, you can always go back and get my original one, wherever it is. Right here. You can always go back and get that. But once you have something that starts to work, you'll want to keep it. Because I'm not really looking for anything overly fancy. You can make it as nice as you want to. Changing the colors, changing out the files that you're using. And now in Dreamweaver, again, you can shift in the design view. You can't do it in the live view. The design view is going to be hard to work with because I've got it laid out in percentages, and I don't know why that's so hard to work with. Well, there it goes. But even then, it looks funny. It looks funny. Okay. So you can take these and drag them though. See that? Drag the edges of the cells. Actually, that didn't work. I think it's probably because I designed it with that works. Some of them don't work. Well, that's because that spans another couple of cells or something. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to change it like that. I usually just change it via the code. And you can see it either to the percentage point or to the pixel point in the code. Okay. People are going to have to learn to use code a little bit. I'm sure that in your jobs later, you very well may not use a computer language, okay? But you're going to have some kind of code that you have to work with. Now, if you're a marketing person, you very well may do some web design. If you're a business person, you're going to do some data analysis. Well, data analysis, there's a lot of data that gets dumped into web pages. Okay? Data analysis uses databases, which uses a language called SQL, which goes in a lot of websites. Okay, there's a lot of data that gets displayed, and it's just it's probably one of those all-purpose skills to know a little bit about just coding something. Okay, and this is probably the best place to start, the easiest place to start is with HTML stuff. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Let me turn this off. I don't need to share that anymore. Here we go. Okay, so you can kind of see what I got on the board here. There you go. That's about everything. Anybody having a hard time with anything? Okay. All right. Well, let me think if there's a few other things I might tell you about this. I'm going to go back to sharing. There's that again. See it? And your This right here, we worked with. Okay, this is the image. This is the TD I'm talking about. You can put your background color right there as part of TD tag. Okay, closing TD tag, opening, closing TD tag. TD stands for table data. It's a cell. TR stands for table row. It's a table row. For every table, it's almost always made up of rows and cells. Okay? So if you have something like this, this is going to, a row is delineated by a TR tag. Closes with it. Closing TR tag. Cell is delineated by TD and closing TD. Opening TD and closing TD. Opening TD, closing TD. Closing is always delineated, is always indicated with a slash in front of the name of the tag. Okay. Overall, you would of course have just a table tag. And you have a closing one down here. Okay, and then inside tags, you can have what are called attributes. BG color equals hash mark. This is red, solid red. You can have that right there is called an attribute. That's the attribute name, and that's the attribute value. This right here is the tag, or also called an element. Okay. And that's the basic structure of all HTML. Okay. Tags and attributes. Always a space between them. Never run together. Never ever. Okay? It won't. The browser won't be able to tell what tag you're using if you run them together. It has to know that that's a TD, table data, it's a cell. This goes back to the early 90s and actually before that when scientists were the only people who work on the internet, really. Researchers and scientists. Government people. Government researchers and even really defense, Department of Defense. When the guy invented HTML, he was a British guy. Okay, he lives in Boston, I think now. It was really designed to display data, tabular data. Tables were very important. There still are a fundamental thing for web pages, really. But it was all done for scientific purposes. Okay? We still have this, and we're just making use of that with our page now and using it. Okay? But the web has quite a history. If you, we got to get out of here. Oh, we got time. If you, you guys, 1969 was way before you guys were born. I know. But 1969, we landed on the moon. Okay, and that really was like the watershed time. It was just a huge event. Okay, land on the moon, walk on the moon. But that very same year, the first internet was put together. And most people had absolutely no idea. But the internet has absolutely changed everything that we do. Okay? Landed on the moon, pretty important, but you know, wasn't really much that we could make a whole lot of use of it. Although I think it was cool. Very cool. And I know there's been residual technology that spins off all that effort to get there and everything. So I know it's been good. I would never believe it. The internet was sort of a low-key event compared to that. Okay? And when it became 1969. And it took probably a little bit over 20, 67, 89. It took over 20 years. Over 20 years for that to really be worked into the society where it was actually useful. Because in 1991, HTML was made, and then I think in 1993, the guy that there was a fella, he was a college student in Illinois. He came up with the first graphical web browser. Until then, the internet was just very technical, very chart-oriented, and data-oriented. But he created the first graphical web browser. He actually created the image tag, okay, the IMG tag, and that was an absolute smash hit. Okay, everybody wanted a browser, wanted a piece of browser software. That was the biggest piece of single software probably that was just huge, just unbelievably huge when that came out. And Word was a big deal. So was Excel. That internet browser was massive. So it has its place in history, kind of the whole invention of it. And it just is, like a lot of other inventions, it's just a culmination of a lot of smaller things. The networking being put together, and the digital media, the ability to display a picture on a screen full of pixels. Anyhow, that's what we're doing, okay? I think there's our Dropbox, already a assignment box up for this. You can put your stuff in there when you're done. Make sure, though, that you zip it all together. Don't just put your HTML file up there. I won't be able to see it. I'll give you a grade, but it won't be a big one. Okay? All right.
For the digital video, were we supposed to do that also?
Do that where?
The video that we did, the trailer commercial.
Yeah, like the YouTube. Put it in here?
Were we supposed to zip it when we?
Yes.
So if I didn't do that, can I resubmit?
Yeah, resubmit it, because I won't be able to see what you're saying. Okay, I know it might. Okay, try not to, don't use any files that are like 2-hour movie files and you're going to take clips out of home or something. Or 20-minute movie files. You don't need anything long. That movie shouldn't be over a minute.
Yeah, it wasn't long. Maybe it was my Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi is going to take longer to load than if it's cable. Okay, so if you come in here and do it, these are all cable. They're going to be quicker. And we'll be here all next week. So you guys will be here on Thursday. If you have it ready, you can upload it in if you want to do that. I will take things. Next week is our last week of class, I believe. Okay? So, let me make sure what I'm talking about. Oops. All right, so next week's our last week. You guys on the 12th, 1 week from today, that will be our last class. Okay? Yep, because the 16th is the last day of class, and that's a Monday. So this is it. This will be it. This next week. So I'm not introducing like another project or anything. This is really just a portfolio project. Just put your stuff in, and I'm giving it to you. I was going to be on the 19th. That's when I'm planning to do it. It's the 19th. It's online. It's probably going to be something like 5 to 8. Yeah. Is that going to work for you? If it doesn't work for you, let me know. We'll figure out what to do. I think it's like 200. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh!
See, now anything I say is going to be better than that, right? It's probably going to be about 60 questions. I don't know, 15 minutes or something. I'm just kidding. Now, it'll probably be questions. It might be an hour. Hour and 20 minutes maybe. Okay. See, the thing is, I know you've got access to everything. I'm pretty tight on the time. I'm pretty tight. So I'll post up a study guide, and I always tell everybody to read the study guide. and be familiar with the study guide. Okay. Now, usually we take it in here. We didn't in the spring because we just had a hard time with everything. But usually I take it in class and there's no notes. It's all to take the test. So I'll give you plenty of time. When you have all the notes and everything, I usually tell you, get familiar with that study guide because you're not going to have like 2 hours or something to take that test. Okay. So just be pretty familiar with it, so that you know where things are and stuff. Okay. All right. I don't know why I'm showing this. Should be showing our web page. That ought to get you. You got to be able to come up with something decent for this. Okay. I'd save it. I'd keep it. You know, this